being here. Gentlemen, we'll keep rolling. We're pretty close to on-time under budget, which I like. Public safety, we have Robbie Hall and Warren Cade. We have 30 minutes for you guys. The sheriff had 5 minutes apiece and 20 minutes for questions, or 15 minutes apiece. Doesn't matter. Get more than the sheriff. So, sheriff, be fair with each other.
Do what?
Never do.
You got more for the media, right? If not, I can give you mine, I'm sure.
I brought them, but I gave some extras out, so I'll give it to you. Basically, we're at the very beginning. Bless you, bless you, bless you. What I've done here is I just put together, I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I really wanted to be able to give that to Mr. Shields, who's new on the board, on the involuntary commitments. You'll see that I made an error on our total fuel cost on the 4th page. I've corrected that. Didn't see that until I got here. Three things that we're going to be asking for that we can see right now. The 2 school resource officer positions. One of those positions being the school resource officer at Nantahala. That was a grant position. That is supposed to be reoccurring funds. We're hoping that'll be reoccurring funds again this year. We've been told that it will be, but it still has to go through the budget process. If the state doesn't pass their budget until later than July, we've got to get ready for it. The second position is the position at Cartuga J that I temporarily placed an officer there from the road to Cartuga J, it being our only school that didn't have an SRO. And if you remember correctly, I came before the commissioners and I did not have an applicant that I could put on the road at that time. So in the meantime, I was going to utilize that position at Cartuga J. That's what we've done. It's worked out really good. They're really pleased with him. It's going very well. The second thing is creating 4 positions in our jail. That is one of the things that we're going to be asking for. The main reason that we're having to do that is under the new state and federal guidelines. I have no choice. We have to, HR has put it on our back. They've covered their tail by making sure that we're aware that that is policy, that is mandated. And so therefore I've got to put it on you all because we have to follow compliance. Right now we're working people every day over the 19 hours and we have to follow compliance, or what's going to happen is we're going to get fined incredibly for not meeting those standards, and then I'm the one that's going to be held accountable for that. So we're going to have to come into compliance.
This comes through the Mississippi.
This come through the Obamacare, the changes, everything, and the changes in the laws, and we have to meet that mandate. And for instance, 19 hours, that's not even 2 days, that's not even 2 shifts, it's 1.5 shifts that an officer would be able to work. Involuntary commitments, as you can see in the other 3 pages, that's where a lot of our hours go. Skipping around through here, we spent 8,299 hours sitting at Angel ER, involuntary commitments. We spent 9,572 hours total for involuntary commitments. And a lot of that is your officers working overtime or working, your part-time officers working over the 19 hours. The good thing about it is, and I can't go into detail until we get everything settled, but working with the county manager and myself and the major, we've got an organization that we're going to look into contracting with on doing our transports. And I believe our goal is to be able to implement these 4 positions without coming to you and asking for additional funds to do so. We're going to be able to do it within our current budget. That is our goal. Right now, it looks very good. I think it's too good to be true right now, so we're not holding our breath, but it does look really well. The other thing that I'm going to ask is reinstate our vehicle policy replacement plan that we established back in 2003. Shortly after I took office, the county was in a position where we had to replace a bunch of vehicles because they were becoming safety issues. And I think at one time about 14 vehicles at one time. And so we come up with a 5-year plan, 6 vehicles a year, and then every year replace the 6 worst vehicles. And at the end of 5 years, we would go back and replace those first vehicles. The plan that we had established was working great. We saw an incredible amount of decrease in our line item for vehicle repairs. That line item is now over $117,000. This year it's going to exceed probably $117,000 again. And at the end of that 5 years, the economy went south, and so we had to stop getting new cars, which I understand. Well, now we've kept doing that, and now we're getting vehicles that have 150, 175, transport vehicles that have over 200,000 miles on them. And they become a safety issue. So we're going to be asking for that to be established again. I'm not going to go over these other 3. I just wanted to I know all of the commissioners except for Mr. Shields are well aware of the involuntary commitment issues that we've had for several years. So I just wanted to make that available to you and give all of you the most up-to-date numbers for 2014.
A couple of bright sides to involuntary commitments is that as of last Wednesday, we did our first telepsych patient. Unfortunately, that young lady had to be transferred over to Wilmington to the hospital, but the telepsych worked. We followed up on it, and the next thing is if the state chooses to expand Medicaid, part of that would be that a portion would be the county would be, and the EMS and the sheriff's department would be reimbursed the transportation costs for that patient. So, but that's you really don't know. So hopefully, that'd be a
We're really
huge
hoping
help.
we're really hoping we don't have to worry about it at all.
We're working with, like the sheriff said, we're in discussions with Angel Hospital and third party for oversight of transport of these involuntary commitments. And also our legal counsel is looking into some options we may have as well. So hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
We engaged the telepsych forces that get out of the ER quicker. And now they're working on a computer program we talked about Saturday in Durham about showing that they can have a computer program and go and see what beds is later. We've talked about that for years. And why don't they have that?
If you don't have mental issues sitting in before you get into the ER, you sit in the ER for 7 days, you'll have mental issues.
Just to that, if you look at the sheriff here, $253,625 is what we're spending to sit with involuntary commitments while they're at the hospital. And talking with other county managers that are from down east to the eastern part of the state, around the Raleigh area down there, and asking, what are you doing with your involuntary commitments? And I said, well, we sit with them. I said, well, how long do you sit with them? Well, about average 4 to 8 hours, 8 being the high end. We're having to sit with involuntary commitments for an average of 40 hours. And when I say that, then their job is getting full. But it's not unique to Macon County, it's unique to our region. I think every county from Graham County to Haywood County is experiencing the same kind of difficulty.
All the way down to Caldwell County, and it's just so they have better, quicker access to all that.
We've had as many as 7 involuntary commitments at the hospital. They've actually shut their operation day surgery unit down and put all of our involuntary commitments and all of our officers over there in that building because there was so many of those.
Well, we have moved to the third floor where they were Friday.
And when you have when you have a patient, you know, you may have 4 patients in there today. You'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 officers with 24 hours a day.
But thanks to Andy Shields' work, there's a form that every sheriff's department has now, every hospital has now, they didn't have before. And doing a snapshot in time, it's amazing how they didn't keep records. They're keeping records. And so when that comes back, unless the counties are confused with mental health.
And that form was created because our numbers were different than Smoky Mountain. Vastly different, and we basically got called liars. Yeah, we were called liars. And so what we found out was that if Joe Blow was committed today, and Joe Blow was committed again in 2 weeks, even though the process started all over, that was counted as one involuntary commitment. And so
That is all changed.
that has all changed.
Question, Sheriff, thank you.
Uh-huh.
County employees, if they work 20 or more hours per week on a regular basis, we need to have them in the retirement system. We need to be paying retirement on them. We need to be taking retirement out of their check. Okay? So that becomes your first threshold. If you have part-time employees, and I'm using the air quotes on part-time employees, they need to be at 19 hours a week or less. Very difficult what these guys have to do.
Impossible.
Well, impossible. And then there's then thanks to the Affordable Care Act, now there's another threshold. If they work 30 or more hours a week, we need to be paying them their medical insurance for that employee. Here's the difference. They are considered seasonal employees. Therefore, they do not fall under these particular guidelines. There's a different set of rules for this. The same. If they are considered seasonal, that's the difference.
Where we're seeing like with the sheriff's department, with EMS, is the 12-hour shifts requirements. That's where you really run into the EMS with a 24-hour shift. In other words, somebody's coming in and filling an ambulance driver shift, they're working 24 hours. So you've already exceeded your 19 out there. And then like with the sheriff's department, when they take an involuntary commitment, they have to go to Wilmington, then boom, you see that right there, just like that. So that's where we're seeing the real problem. All with the maintenance department, part-time workers, like our transit part-time drivers, we've been able to get that under control. Like with solid waste, we've been able to bring those hours under control and get in compliance. But it's these extended shifts, whether it be
Really
with the involuntary commitment oversight and transport that's taking so long, or a 24-hour shift, like on the
They can't even send it to their training. A new detention officer has to go through 6 weeks of training to get state certified. First week they'd be out of compliance. We're going to struggle, but that's the only way that we know, and that's to put another person on each shift. Because what happens is in the jails, you have 3 people that's working in jail. You have 1 person that's working the control panel. You got 1 person and can't come out of the control panel. They're back behind closed doors in the controlled environment. Then you have 1 person upstairs that's booking everybody, and then you have 1 person that's downstairs with 75 inmates. So we're going to add another officer to each of those shifts.
And gentlemen, if I may, just to put it in perspective a little bit, that 8,299 hours that their officers spent sitting in the medical center in the year's time, that's the equivalent of 4 full-time positions. And it's,
That's what I want to know, if it equals out. Hired 4 more officers, just breaking in, we're still spending money, so
Right.
hiring 4 more officers.
And that's just to be able to follow in compliance.
Right.
If we don't hire those 4, then we're not going to be in compliance. There's no way that we're going to follow in compliance.
It's possible.
There's no way.
Understand that.
That's the only solution that we had to. We've constantly trying to figure it out. We don't know what the
Check the
solution.
time.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks.
You only have to remain 60